My love, thank you for being right here, right now, and thank you for pressing play. We are moving through a lot, and we are moving through it together. My whole intention with this video is to shed some light around the life pause that we are all facing with this COVID-19 outbreak, and to also let all of my new followers know more about me, who I am, and what my offerings are, as I have gotten a lot more followers on social media and just felt really called to share more of who I am and what I do. So, today is March 30th, 2020, and before I keep going, I'm looking in two different directions because I have my cell phone recording and my laptop recording, and I'm not sure which one I'm going to post. Yesterday I did a great video, and for some reason social media was not uploading it, so I'm going double whammy this time. Alright, today is March 30th, 2020, and today is day 17 of my family and me being in quarantine, and it is also 9 days until my 32nd birthday, which I'm so excited about. It's gonna be a little different this year. For sure, it's gonna be a little different, and I'm embracing it. I have been really focused on embracing all of this. It was really when I was in Mammoth with my girlfriends, Kathy and Amanda, the first weekend in March, and we were like, is this gonna, we know it's gonna come to America, but like, how intense is this gonna be? And we just were talking about how like we were all kind of not jumping at it being so serious and so big, and then it all just like whoosh. It was like a big wave, and now that the wave has passed, the first wave, we are now actually still somewhat in the first wave. And before I jump into more of my thoughts and views surrounding our current circumstances on this beautiful planet, let me just give you a little brief update of who I am and what I do. So, I'm Allie. I don't enjoy using labels because I believe that we are all such beautiful, different, various categories, and so to put myself in a box in any way doesn't really sit well with me. I am a very proud adoptee, and I professionally, I create containers for people to connect deeper to themselves and deeper to others, and I not only do this professionally, but I also do it in my personal life as well. Ever since I was a very young child, I have had adults come up and talk to me about their deepest, darkest secrets, and at first I was just like, what's going on? Why are people talking to me about this? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you. And then I just felt really comfortable in holding space for deep conversations ever since I was a little kid. And although I studied political science and I was planning on running for office and staying in the nonprofit world, when the recession hit, I shifted and I went into fashion, and I was killing it in fashion, and then I was like, what am I doing in this industry? This doesn't fit well with me. And then I moved into the tech industry, so I've been doing marketing and events for about 11 years now, and it's really my bread and butter. I can do it in my sleep. I love it, but at the same time, the past 2.5, 3 years, I felt very called to coaching. I felt very called to mentoring, and I wasn't entirely sure how to navigate that calling, what to really do, and I eventually just stepped into it. So last year, so the past 6 months, I've been focused on growing my coaching business, but really for the past 10 months, my top number one priority was growing my conscious community. And I decided this past February, so last month, that the person I was co-leading with, we just weren't a good fit for one another from a business standpoint. So I decided to end that relationship, that business partnership, and it's been a big shift for me. And I am now very, very focused on growing my online coaching business, as well as my spiritual mentorship, and many more videos to come surrounding exactly what all of my offerings are. But if you desire to find out more, go to alliejamison.com, and you can also sign up there for my newsletter. So as an event producer and an event host and a retreat host, I also consult people with their own events, and I obviously specialize in in-person events. However, I am now dabbling into the world of virtual events, virtual retreats, virtual wellness summits, and all of those are coming up, and I'm super excited to share all of those fun things with all the beautiful people I'm co-creating with right now. So all updates will be at alliejamison.com. On there you can also find the link to my podcast, Adopt Yourself, and my blog, which just shares more about my experiences, my expertise, and also the traumas that I've healed from and gone through. And I really just feel that if I don't share my knowledge, if I don't share my expertise, and if I don't share how I've healed my traumas so that I can step into being of service to others, not only is that a disservice to you, that's me not fulfilling my purpose in life. Which was the beginning of the calling for me to step into coaching. And I'm just so grateful to be right here, right now, and so grateful to share through these different platforms, through writing, through speaking, through podcasting, through social media, all about my knowledge and what I've learned and how I can support others. And you've probably seen me talk about Adopt Yourself. So Adopt Yourself is my baby. It is not only my podcast, it is also basically what I've been doing my entire life. And when this phrase came to me, I had full body chills, and I was immediately just like, that is what I've been trying to do my whole life. And that explains so much. So as an adoptee, I never felt like I fit in. Plain and simple. I was adopted into an amazing, loving, supportive, beautiful, beautifully loving family, and I still kept feeling like I didn't fit in. And I honestly felt like I didn't fit in until I finally felt like I fit into my own body. I kept searching for home in other people and other places until one day I realized home is the only home is the home I have within me, within this body, within this physical, beautiful human bodysuit that I lovingly wear every day. So that was about my personal development journey. Began about 10 years ago, and it's really been the past 6 years or so that I've really stepped into owning my body, feeling into my body, and a lot of the embodiment practices that I've done and gone through and that I coach about all started because I was in an abusive relationship that was emotionally, mentally, and physically abusive, where I was raped. And during that whole time, I gained 60 pounds. I didn't feel my body anymore. I didn't recognize who I was. I literally did not feel into my body, and I would eat just so that I could feel something, because then when I would finally feel full, then I felt something, because I just kept numbing out on alcohol, on smoking weed, and so many other things. And it took me a while to understand that that's what I was doing. It took me a while to understand that there were practices that could help me. And I'm just so grateful that I have a huge toolbox of so many different embodiment practices, so many different ways that I connect deeper to myself, so that I really keep growing that home in my body, in myself. And adopting yourself means taking full responsibility for your joy and healing. And for me, 22 or so year old me back then, I was not taking responsibility for myself. I was not at all. I was just going with the ebbs and flows, trying to ride the wave. I was not focused on me. I was focused on my partner. I was focused on rescuing them. I was focused on doing whatever I could to help them, to save them, and I lost myself. And it's taken me time to see that I did that, and time to understand that I had the capabilities, I could do it. I could learn to not only like myself, but unconditionally love myself. And I could learn to start having relationships that were healthy, that I deserved, and that were actually just true, really loving relationships instead of very toxic ones. And so, got off on a little rant there. But it basically just brought me to seeing myself and to seeing what I was involved in and what I was doing to myself. And I was at war with myself during those years. I was also at war with myself a few years ago through another toxic relationship. And through each circumstance, we learn. Even right now, with this global pandemic, we're learning. We're learning through these circumstances. And Adopt Yourself is a program that I have created. It's all about seeing different parts of you that you might not have been acknowledging or that you might not have been loving as much. And not only just seeing them, acknowledging them, but learning to start to like them, learning to start to accept them, learning to start to accept all parts of you, your faults, your flaws, all of it, your shadows. It's adopting your whole self, your whole being, your whole human, your whole spirit, your whole self. And the process of that is very transformational, but also it's all about, a lot of it is reparenting. We can have the best parents in the world, and we still need to reparent ourselves once we turn into adulthood. It's just how it is. So I have so much more to share about Adopt Yourself. However, I definitely want to jump into this COVID-19 outbreak. More videos on Adopt Yourself and on my specific coaching and mentoring coming up. If anything I just said resonates, please message me. I'm definitely looking to grow my online coaching business and my mentoring. And even if you're not fully interested in it, if you'd still like to have a conversation with me, I love having conversations with people. It brightens my day to just connect, and especially right now, let's connect more virtually, guys. And I hope all of you are watching this at home, or on a walk outside, or on a run, or the few things that we're, I would say allowed to do, but I don't want to frame it in that way because, that's not how I'm going to frame it. The things we get to do outside of our home. So, dropping into my views surrounding this COVID-19. The political side of me feels called to share that I'm disappointed in the way the United States government has responded. It was very slow, and to me it shows me more, I already knew this, but it shows me more that our current leaders, mainly our president, they care more about saving the economy than saving lives. And that's all I have to say about that. That's all I'm going to say. Regarding, and I am very proud, I must say, of California's reaction. I do feel that every single response in America was at least 5 to 10 days late, which is concerning to me, because you had all the information. You saw what was happening in China, you saw what was happening in Korea and all these other countries, and you still responded that tardy. Just tardy to the party. That's all I have to say. Is that they just were tardy. Now, Even if they responded earlier, we would be in very similar circumstances. However, we would have definitely been a little bit more prepared. A lot of people are talking about physical things going on, and like, oh, there's this many people in the hospital, this many blah, 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 blah. My whole thing is for us to focus on our mental health and our emotional well-being. As a trauma-informed healer, I have trained for what is happening right now, to support people of what is happening right now. And I'm sharing much more tips and hints in upcoming videos, because I know I'm almost at 16 minutes now. Wow, definitely talk a lot. Okay. To me, it doesn't matter where this virus started. It doesn't matter how it spread. I mean, yes, physically we all need to take more responsibility for our hygiene and our cleanliness, so that we don't spread it, and also to stay at home, because even if you don't have it, you can still be a carrier, and no one wants that on their conscience, that you are the one who then got other people sick. Like, no one wants that on their conscience, and also it's just not the nice thing to do. So just stay home. And the way I see what's happening is we have been overpopulating this world for quite some time. And not only have we been overpopulating it, but we have also created vaccines and medicine that has not only kept more people alive, but more people alive longer. I see this as Mama Earth, Mama Gaia, Pachamama, trying to balance things out. And it's unfortunate that this is how it's happening. We are all going to experience some type of loss, and whether that's human loss, life loss, whether that's just loss of structure, which each and every one of us are feeling right now. And as we are experiencing these losses, it's important, the most important thing for everyone to do right now is to find safety and to embody it. When you embody safety in your body, in your heart, you're able to come back to center, you're able to come back to more ease. So I'm going to be sharing more ways to come back to safety actually later today in my Mindful Mondays video, which will be posted after this video. So yeah, to one, find safety, and it's not in your mind. It's something that happens within your body. And through several different meditations, what came to me has really, well, I'll just explain the visual that I got. I was connecting up to Source in a meditation, and I was floating through the stars and the planets and the galaxies, and then I saw a hand. I saw a hand reach up and grab the side of a boat. I was like, what? I haven't seen a visual like this before, a vision like this? Okay. So in my mind's eye, I turn and I look, and I see the full boat. And the side of the boat says self-reflection. I was like, yes, that totally makes sense. And mind you, I started this meditation, this was about 2 weeks ago, after I had moved through a lot of fear and anxiety for me, which I'll mention in a second. And in this meditation, I asked to Source, I said, show me what's going on, like why is this happening, what's the meaning, what's going on, just give me anything that I can work with. And it was self-reflection. So for me, in the first few days of quarantine, my number one priority, I prioritized others before myself, which as a giver and a healer, sometimes it happens, and also as a codependent, sometimes it just happens. And in my first 3 days, I wiped myself out because I took on other people's emotions, and as an empath, this tends to happen sometimes, which is why I am upped my game on my energetic boundaries, and I keep doing it, which I will be sharing in another video coming up too. So much fun free content. And yeah, it was really, I started to feel other people's fear and other people's anxiety, and then as I detached from that, I was able to see and focus in on what my fear was, what my own anxiety was. And as an adoptee, I've always had fear of abandonment. It was rooted in the trauma of my adoption, and that's the mirror that was being held in my face. So on this boat of self-reflection, those few days, that's the mirror that was being held up. Was this is one of your biggest fears. Arguably, I don't fear death for myself. I fear death for others. I fear abandonment more than anything else. And I believe that that's also rooted in the 20 or so years that I kept abandoning myself over and over and over again. I'll get into that in another share though. And so what I see is happening right now is that there's a mirror being held up to each and every human being right now. Every single one of us. And whether that person is being impacted right now or will be, every single human on this planet will be impacted by COVID-19, by this life pause, by this virus outbreak, by this life shift. And we are given such a beautiful opportunity right now to hold a mirror up to our face. And it's not just us. We're holding a mirror up to society, our entire society, all of our systems, all of these structures, all of these paradigms that we've been living in and living under. There's a huge mirror being held right up to your face. And some of us, those of us who do have the tools to move through it, to acknowledge and move through it, and moving through it is not easy. It's not comfortable. It's very uncomfortable sometimes, but you do it and you move through it. And those are the tools that I'm going to be sharing with all of you, because if not now, when? You know, like, we all need tools to move through what we are going through right now as a collective, as a whole. And as we are sitting in confinement and sitting in quarantine, you start to look at the things you do to escape yourself. You start to see more of the distractions that you do or have had. And take that as a learning opportunity, friends. That's such a beautiful learning opportunity to see, why am I leaving the present moment? What's the reason? Why am I going off path? Why can't I sit in this present moment? Sometimes it's because the present's uncomfortable. Why is it uncomfortable? Find the root of it. Be curious with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Oh, be kind to yourself, especially now. This is an energetic waiting game, friends. This is an energetic waiting game. And the more we remind ourselves of that, the better off we will be through this whole process. And it's really, truly an opportunity for us to come back to our hearts as we reevaluate our values and our priorities. And we also look at where we were giving our power away, whether that's government, whether that's corporations, whether that's external validation. This is a beautiful opportunity for each and every one of us to come back to our hearts, to come back to self, and to grow home within ourselves as we're all at home, if we're lucky enough to have a home. So, I'm now almost at 25 minutes. Oh gosh. Props to anyone who's still watching. This is a beautiful time to connect deeper to your heart, to yourself, and to others. And this is also a time to just be still with yourself. Be still with yourself and observe We are the witnesses and we are the observers to the thinkers of our thoughts. Come back to yourself. Come back to your heart. It will all pass. This will all pass. This will all pass. I'm sending you so much love. So much love. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of my journey. And I will be connecting with you very soon. May you be happy, healthy, safe, and live with ease. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering, and may all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends and hatred for enemies. I love you all. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay in high vibes, stay in high spirits. You've got this. I love you.